Hello children, let's start our next topic of physics, that is force and laws of motion. In our previous topic, I think from the, you can say from the title, it's very well clear that we are going to talk about force, which you have already studied in your class 8 or 7 also. In your previous classes, you have studied about force. And in this chapter, along with that, we are also going to study about laws of motion. If the object is in motion, then under which laws are followed by the object if it is in motion, if it is in moving with certain velocity, if it is in acceleration, it is moving in uniform circular motion, or many other things. There are certain laws which govern the motion of an object. So we are going to read about all these things in this chapter. So first of all, previous chapter we had talked about velocity, acceleration, uniform motion, non-uniform motion. We studied about all these things, but we have not studied about the causes of all these things. We know that when something is, an object is at rest, then we talked that it means if the object is at rest, it means it has initial velocity 0, and after covering some distance it attains certain velocity which is known as its final velocity. Same way, if there is a change in velocity, that means the object is under acceleration. We studied about all these things. Then we had also talked about uniform motion, non-uniform motion. But what are the causes of all these things? What makes the object move, or what makes the object to come at rest? What changes the direction? What makes the object to change its direction? What brings a change in the magnitude of the velocity, or you can say magnitude of the speed? How an object is able to cover some distance? All this we have not talked about the causes. In this chapter, we are going to talk about all these things. If suppose an object is, I have kept a book at the table, on a table. Do you think it will start moving itself? It will come into motion by itself? I think that is not possible. Until there is, still air is also not able to. It can blow the pages, but it cannot move a book if it is not of high intensity. That means something is required. That something is known as force. So force means when I will lift the book up and I will keep it on the, I have changed the place of the book. Suppose a book was earlier lying on this table and then I kept it on the chair. That means I have changed the place. But how have I changed the place? By applying my muscular force. I have put my efforts, my muscular efforts in to change the position of the object. So these are of the causes behind acceleration, behind velocity, behind uniform motion, non-uniform motion. What is the cause? The cause of all these things is force. So a force is a, you all, I think you know very well the definition of force. Force is a push, pull or hit given to an object which brings a change in its state of rest or in the state of motion. So children, let us revise the definition once again. What is force? A push, pull or hit given to an object which brings a change in the state of rest or of motion of an object. Suppose a scooter is moving, or yes, suppose let's consider that a scooter is moving with a velocity of 6 meters per second. Then suddenly comes in between my way. Then what will I, something comes in between. Then what I am going to do, if there is another from the opposite sides, I see that another car is coming towards me. I just want to reduce my speed. What will I do? I apply the force in the form of brakes. So brakes here are acting as a, brakes here are force, form of force I have applied. So force is a push, pull or hit to bring a change in the state of rest or of motion. Suppose a cycle is standing and nobody is riding, fine. Then you start paddling. It will start moving. That means you have put your efforts. You have put some force. You have applied some force in the form of muscular force. That force has brought a change in the state of rest or of motion. So from these two examples, I think it's clear that force is a push, pull or hit given to an object or a body which brings a change in the state of its rest or of motion. Now let us see few points regarding motion. A force may move a body at rest. Like I gave you an example. A force may move a body at rest. Suppose a body is at rest. If I apply a force, it will start moving. As I gave you the example of bicycle, earlier it was at rest, and when I started paddling, it started moving. So this is how the force brings a change in the state of rest. Next point, a force may stop a moving body. Another example I already gave you. How can a force bring a moving body at rest? It can bring a moving body at rest. For example, I told you are riding a cycle or you are driving a car. Then if you want to stop at a particular place, then what will you do? You will definitely apply force, brakes. Those brakes are a type of force. So force may make a moving body at rest. Force may make a body at rest move. Third point, a force may change the speed of a moving body. Definitely, force can bring a change in the speed of a moving body. You are riding the bicycle, you are paddling very fast. The cycle will attain great speed. Then suddenly what happens when you stop paddling? Slowly, the cycle comes to rest, or its speed slows down, gradually decreases its speed, slowly decreases, and when you again start paddling, it start attaining the velocity again. So a force may change the speed of a moving body. Along with this, number 4, a force may bring a change in the direction of a moving body. How can you change the direction of a moving body with the help of force? Suppose you are playing badminton. Shuttlecock is coming towards you. Then you hit it with the help of your racket, badminton racket. Then it goes in the opposite direction. Earlier it was coming towards you. Now you apply the force with the hand, with your arm or with your badminton racket. Now it has moved in the opposite direction. This is how you can change the direction of a moving body by applying certain force. Next, a force may change the shape or size of a body. Of course, it can bring a change in the shape or size of a body. For example, when you take a small plastic ball, you press it between your palms. What will happen? Its shape will change. This is how the force applied by both your palms may have brought a change in the shape of the ball. And what about the size? Suppose you are having an elastic. You are pulling it. Push, pull or hit. You are pulling it. When you pull it, then the size of the elastic rubber band changes. It increases. The size increases. And when you stop applying the force, then what will happen? It will regain its original size, you can say. Or if you kept on holding like this, it will remain at this place, particular place only. That means at this place you are not applying any force. Force can bring a change in the shape and size of an object. So let us repeat once again, children. In this topic we are going to study about force. Force is a push, pull or hit which brings a change in the state of rest or motion of an object. Then we had studied few characteristics of force. A force may move a body at rest. It can bring a body moving with certain velocity at rest, or it can make a body at rest move. Third point, it can bring a change in the shape or size. Then it can bring a change in the direction, or we can also change the magnitude of speed or velocity of the object also with the help of force. Now children, forces can be broadly divided into two categories. First is balanced forces and the second one is unbalanced forces. Now children, what is balanced force and what is unbalanced forces? When the resultant force, when the resultant forces acting on a body is 0, then it is known as balanced forces. When the resultant of the forces, when or if the resultant of all the forces acting on the body is 0, that means it is known as a balanced forces. For example, I have written an example here. When we hold a suitcase steady at certain height, we have kept it at a certain height and now we are not moving it. At this position, there are two forces acting on the suitcase. One force is the force of gravity, which is trying to bring it down and which is acting vertically downwards. And the other force is the force applied by our hands to keep it at that particular position, that is acting upward. That force which we are applying with our hands, that is applying vertically upwards. So in this case, there are two forces acting on the body. If the resultant of all the forces, in this case, how many forces are there? Two forces. What are they? Force of gravity and the force which is acting vertically downwards, and the force which we are applying through our hands, which is acting vertically upward. In this case, there are two forces acting. If the result of these two, when the forces are in the opposite direction, that means one force is positive and the other force is negative. If, children, what do you mean by +2 and -2? When we have to write it like this, what will happen? They will cancel each other. How were they able to cancel each other? Because both the magnitude was same but the direction was opposite. That means if the resultant of or the result of all the forces acting on the body is 0, that means it is balanced force. Balanced force do not help you to change the position, shape, size. They do not help you to change all these things. Suppose you have kept the suitcase steady here. One force is acting vertically downward and other force is acting vertically upward. If these two forces are equal, and suppose you have kept your hands here like this and both the forces are equal, will you be able to change the position of the object or the suitcase? No, you won't be able to change the position of the suitcase, because in this case, the force which is acting vertically upward, suppose that was of 5 Newton, and the force which is acting vertically downward, that is also 5 Newton. The result of both the forces is 0. +5 and -5, 0. So we won't get anything here. If the result or the resultant of all the forces acting on a body is 0, in that case the forces are known as balanced forces. I think it is clear from this example. See, I have told you, when we hold a suitcase steady at some height, the suitcase is under the action of two forces. Force of gravity acting vertically downwards and force applied by our hand in the upward direction. In this case, force A, which is acting vertically upward, is equal to force B, which is acting vertically downward. That means the result of these two forces is 0. There is no force acting on the body if the both have the or are of the same amount. They cannot bring a change in the shape, size or position of the object. Now in the similar example, in the very same example only, suppose I stop applying this upward force. That means there is only one force acting. This force has become 0. Suppose force A has become 0. I have stopped applying this vertically upward force. It has 0. And again it has the value of 5. The other force, that is force of gravity, is still acting. In this case, the forces have become unbalanced. Then what will happen if the forces have become unbalanced? If the forces have become unbalanced, then the object will be able to change its place. Then what will happen if only I will not apply the force vertically upward? There is only one force which is acting vertically downward. What will happen in that case? The suitcase will come down because it is moving under the force of gravity only. There is one force only. So now this will give you the example of unbalanced forces. Now let's see the definition also. If the resultant or the result of all the forces acting on the body is not zero, in that case it is known as unbalanced force. Example, a tug of war. Both the teams try to pull the rope from the opposite direction. If both the teams are applying equal and opposite force, equal and children mind it opposite, equal and opposite force, then what will happen? In this case again the resultant force is zero. This rope will not move. Then suddenly what happens? One of the teams stops applying the force. Then what will happen? The team on the opposite side will pull the rope and they will fall down. The rope will go towards them. So in this case the rope has changed its place from the center. Tug of war has moved now. Tug has moved on the other side. I hope it is clear. Next, one more example. What happens when we stop paddling? Suppose you are riding a cycle. Fine. You are paddling. Then after some time you got tired. You get tired and you stop applying the force. You do not paddle. After covering some distance, gradually the speed of the cycle will slow down. Then finally, if you will still not paddle the cycle, what will happen? It will finally stop. It will stop. Why will it stop? Because you were not applying the force on the cycle. You were not applying. In this case, on the cycle, there are two forces acting. What are they? These two forces. One is the force of friction, which is between the tire of the cycle and the road. One is the force of friction, and other force was the force applied by you through paddling. Two forces were acting in this case. When you stop paddling, one force has become zero, and whereas the other force is still acting on the object, that force will bring a change in the state of motion. That force will bring the cycle at rest. Again, if you continue paddling, if you once you said okay fine, I want to paddle again. If you start paddling again, then what will happen? Your efforts or the force applied by your legs will overcome or will balance the force of friction. If the force of friction will be balanced, the cycle will keep moving. This is how we describe balanced and unbalanced forces. Thank you children for today's class. Next time we will start Newton's first law of motion. Thank you.